Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn NumPy arrays in Python. This chapter is about 7 marks in board examinations. From this chapter, 2 1 marker, 1 2 marker and a question of list which is about 3 marks usually comes in board exam. Computer science has always been a field of continuous evolution and regular advancements in terms of software efficiency, program methodologies, user interface, and applications. With the advent of data science or data analytics, it has become easier and efficient to handle big data, often called huge data. Data science or data analysis is a process of analyzing large data points to get answers to questions related to that data set. Python provides a powerful interface for scientific computing using its popular libraries and is being extensively used for data science. NumPy and Pandas are most extensively used libraries supported by Python. This chapter focuses on NumPy. We have discussed NumPy in class 11th also. In this chapter, we will be revising the concepts learned in the previous class with the practical implementation. Now, first of all, what is NumPy? NumPy library is a popular library used for scientific computing applications and is an acronym for numerical Python. NumPy is an open source module of Python that provide functions for fast mathematical computation on arrays and matrices. Now, what is an array? An array is a container which can hold a fixed number of items and these items should be of same type. It is a contiguous memory location holding elements of same type. Please remember that array always hold elements of same type. An array consists of two things. Number one is element and number two is index. Each item stored in an array is called an element. And the location of an element in an array is a numerical index, which is used to identify that particular element. Now, when we are using array, some terms need to be kept in mind. Number one is axis. Basically, axis is the dimension of the array. If we say axis equals to 0, then that means the array is of one dimension. If axis is 1, then array is of two dimension. And if axis is 2, then array is three-dimensional. It must be remembered that axes are always numbered starting from 0. Second term is rank. Rank is basically the number of axes. Third term is shape. Shape of an array is defined by the number of elements it contains along each of its axes. Now, how the array is represented. For example, there is a diagram on your screen which shows an array of size 10, means there will be 10 elements in that array. Array index must begin with 0, which means first element is always on subscript or index 0. Index is also known as subscript. And the last element is always on size -1, as shown in the figure. 35 is first element which is on index 0 and 31 is the last element which is on index 9, that is size -1. Array length is always the number of elements it can hold. For example, in this case, the array length is 10. Each element can be accessed via its index. For example, in above figure, at index 4, element 14 is stored. Now, how to work with NumPy arrays or how to work with NumPy. First of all, we have to import NumPy library into our Python program. To do so, the following syntax is given on your screen, which I am highlighting right now. In this, we are importing NumPy as NP. Please note that NP is an alias for NumPy, which is optional. If you are If you don't want to write as NP, you can omit it. NumPy arrays are the building blocks of most of the NumPy operations. They can be handled and divided into two categories. Number one is 1D array, which is also known as one-dimensional array. They are also known as vectors. The number of subscript or index determines the dimensions of the array. As shown in the diagram, there are 5 elements in the array. The elements are 2, 8, 7, 6, and 0. 2 is at 0th subscript, followed by the other subscripts, and last element, that is 0, is on 4th subscript. The array can be, the elements can be accessed by, say, num0, as given in the diagram. Num0 will denote first element. Num in square brackets 1 means it will denote second element of the array. In square brackets, we usually write the index. Now, second category is multidimensional array. The most extensively used multidimensional arrays are 2D arrays, which are also known as matrices. Basically, in matrices, there are two things, rows and columns. Rows are always the horizontal ones and columns are always the vertical ones. In this figure, you can see that there are 3 rows and 3 columns. The subscript of rows begins from 0 to 2, and the subscript of columns also begins from 0 to 2. So the first element will be stored at 0, 0 position, second element on 0, 1, third element on 0, 2 of row 1, that is row 0, and followed by other elements. Now, the arrays can be built on Python list also using some functions which we will learn as the chapter proceeds. First of all, we must know what is the difference between Python list and NumPy arrays. List can be homogeneous or heterogeneous, whereas NumPy arrays works only on homogeneous type. This means that in list, we can have numerical data also, string type of data, or the fractional data, that is float or double. But in arrays, there can be only one type of data at a time. If we are creating a numerical array, then the array will consist of only numerical data. But in case of list, we can have multiple type of data also. Now, in list, we can add or remove more elements in the list. For example, if I want to, extend my list, if I want to grow my list, I can do so. But in the case of array, it is not possible. When we create an array, a fixed size needs to be given, and that size cannot be changed. Now, in case of Python list, the memory consumption is greater than as compared to arrays. And in case of list, the runtime execution is comparatively slower than arrays. These are the main differences between Python list and NumPy arrays. Now, in the next video, we will learn several ways to create NumPy arrays. As there are many functions to create an array, we will learn them in the next video. So thank you for today.